Here we go.
That's totally fine. What I'm trying to do is give you guys a focus right now. Something you need to focus on right now. Because that's a great goal. It's incredible. I really seriously applaud that. However, it might not make sense now to focus on that. You know what I mean? But it might. So the thing you have to, by the end of the year, in order for you to go, if you have 1 year left to live, if you're going to kick the bucket, what's the thing you have to have done? All right? Okay? For me right now, it's getting my book published. Nothing else matters right now. Book published, time with kids. Time with kids, book published. Nothing else matters. It's called Make Your Life Epic, The Odyssey of DJ Connection, How to Build a Successful Small Business with a Relatively Small Brain. And it essentially is the history of my business from the start time to now, you know, how it happened. And then it's at the end of each chapter, it explains, like it's a really funny book. You'll laugh the whole time, it's crazy. But at the end of each chapter, it asks you kind of what you learned by it, and it unearths a certain principle that came out of it. And then it, what's that? I have a manuscript you can get a copy of if you want one. I've got those available. But the book, I'm working with a couple of different publishers right now to get it done. And then as soon as it's done, and then, you know, it might take 6 months, 4 months, 5 months. But I just sold 66 copies to Northwest Oklahoma State. So, you know, you want one? At the end of the day, just sign up, you know, sign up and I will make sure I get them to you guys. But yeah, I'll get them for you. There's 401 pages of fun. It's the most funny book you'll ever read. I promise you'll laugh the whole time. You might have a problem. You have to stop that. Okay. All right. So lack of well-defined purpose in life. That was thing one. Thing two is lack of ambition and aim above mediocrity. Reason for theory number two. Lack of ambition to aim above mediocrity. Let's talk about it. Bowling. Bowling. I'm going bowling. I'm in a bowling league. Got my name on my shirt. I'm awesome. Look at me. I'm Larry. Most people bowl with mediocrity. Who here bowls with a passion? Does it frustrate you when you bowl with other people that bowl with mediocrity around you? Yeah, because we don't take it seriously. You're keeping score. You're like, look, man, I got like 3 strikes. What do you call it? A turkey? Like, I got a turkey. And I'm like, whoop, you know, and the next thing I'm bowling backwards. And you're like, dude, take it seriously. I've got a wrist guard. You know what I'm saying? I've got my own ball with my name on it. Look at my ball. Captain Kirk. That's me. That's me. That's one of the bowling king. Yeah. You know what I mean? But mediocrity, it frustrates people who are not mediocre when mediocrity exists. Are you feeling me? So if you're in school and you take it seriously, are you not frustrated by the guy who's constantly interrupting and not paying attention? Yeah. But if you're not, you know what I'm saying? So what I'm asking you to do is ask yourself, and just answer yes or no, are you a mediocre person? And if you are a mediocre person, it's okay. You have to look at yourself and be honest with yourself. You cannot be honest with yourself, you're not going to make it happen. Are you a mediocre person? It's okay if you are today. I can tell you this, up until my freshman year, I was crazy mediocre. Because I didn't really have a focus. I was just messing around. And moving along, stop being mediocre if you are. Third reason for failure. Insufficient education. Insufficient education. But we're going to define education differently than most people do. I'd like you to write out this definition or paraphrase it. Any person who is educated is one who has learned to get whatever he or she wants without violating the rights of others. Repeat. Any person who is educated is one who has learned to get whatever he or she wants without violating the rights of others. So, by that definition, you got that? Want me to repeat it again for you? Any one person who is educated is one who has learned to get whatever he wants in life without violating the rights of others. So, by this definition, is Jay-Z educated? No. By this definition? Yes. Why? Yeah, he's built. He's a part owner of the New Jersey Nets basketball team now. He owns a professional basketball team now, and he went from, very little education to a successful rap career, to building a record label, to building a clothing brand, to selling the clothing brand, to, you know what I'm saying? That's amazing. That's education. The ability to get what you want. So I'm going to ask you this real quick. Everybody here, if you want to get $100, how would you get it right now? If you need $100 in an ethical way that doesn't violate the rights of others, if you had to have it by 5 o'clock or game over, the bomb blows up, what would you do? How could you get it? Tell me real quick, seriously, if you need it, desperate. $100 by the end of the day, how can you get it? You can borrow it whenever you want, there's no rules, as long as it doesn't violate the rights of others.
Ask somebody to loan it to you.
Okay? Real quick though, there's a lot of people you realize that go, I don't know, I couldn't do it, I couldn't make it happen. No, you have to, that's education. Being able to figure out what you know and turn it into a practical solution. That's education. Okay? Education. If you had to, or the bomb goes off, get a ticket. We're playing like the movie Ransom now. You've got to get to Hawaii by the end of the week, or the bomb goes off. How would you do it? Can somebody here?
Yesterday, but I had to buy a ticket from Florida and I bought it yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, I had to.
You know, education is being able, can you go to the library and find the book you need, open up the book, find the part of the book that you need to read, get rid of the rest of the book, and move on. That's education. Not your ability to read an entire book front to back just for the sake of doing it. Can you find the information that you need within that book? Have you guys ever met somebody who can find what they want on the internet super fast?
Yeah.
That's education. They can get the information they want now. Okay? So, lack of education. So I'm asking you today, can you get what you want? That gold list you wrote down earlier? You're not educated, in my opinion, until you know how to get what you want. So, if you want to have successful kids, there might not be a class for that. But you got to find a way to learn from people who did raise successful kids, how they did it, so you'll do it. That kind of thing. Okay? Moving on, next thing here. Lack of self-discipline. Ask yourself, do you have a lack of self-discipline, yes or no? Do you have a hard time waking yourself up? Do you have a hard time paying your bill on time for your one thing called the cell phone? Do you have a hard time checking your voicemails every day? Do you have a hard time getting your homework done? Do you have a hard time not eating all the ice cream at night like me? My daughter, she calls me Havana, or my daughter Havana, she calls me Daddy Boy. That's her name she gives me. She's always like, Daddy Boy. She's really cute too. She wakes up, you know, she long hair and, you know, cute little kid. She's like, Daddy Boy, did you eat all the ice cream? She's 4. And I'm like,
You'll now be interpreting in a freshman science class. The subject that you're discussing is the digestive system.
Hello guys, welcome back to the show. Life Matters is here. Meg is also here. I wanted to start a new series of videos called The Human Body. It's a series of videos I wanted to do for a while. And basically it's going to be anatomy and physiology. That's what I'm really devoting in. And body systems. For example, today I want to start with the digestive system. You know, I'm always talking about foods and superfoods and why you have to eat, you know, good things, this and that. But I want to take time also to explain. And, you know, for those people who don't know what's happening inside us every time we put food in our mouth. So where does it go? Well, what's going on? There's so many things that's happening in our human body we don't even know about. So it's only fair if we try to study them a little bit, alright? So check it out. So most people think that digestion starts in the mouth, but that's actually not true. Digestion starts in the moment you look at the food, when you sight and smell. And when you smell it and you feel the watery mouth, well, what's happening is that you're producing more saliva. And saliva is full of digestive enzymes, such as amylase. And these digestive enzymes, what they're going to do is that they mix with the food, and it breaks down the food, and it makes it easier to absorb and digest. So that's the importance of chewing. When you're chewing your food, you're actually mixing it with saliva, and you're mechanically breaking it down. So you're pretty much taking a lot of hard work to the rest of your digestive system. Chewing is one of the foundations of a healthy digestive system. So you want to make sure that before you swallow the food, make sure it's a really nice paste. It doesn't have to be liquid, you know. I've read, you know, different opinions, you know, that. As long as, you know, it's really well mixed, you know, you taste your food as well, and then it's really well mixed, and it's really easy to swallow as well. So, at this point, when your tongue pushes back the bolus, because now the food is called bolus, into your esophagus, that's the last part of the conscious part of the digestion system, of the digestive side. From now on, everything is going to be automatic. Everything is going to be done by your unconscious brain. So the esophagus is basically a tube. It's a muscular tube, 2-layer muscle that is going to be pushing it down the bolus to the stomach. Now this muscle is called enteric muscle. It's a kind of muscle that we have no control, like conscious control on it. For example, the cardiac muscle is another kind of muscle that we cannot control consciously. The only kind of muscle that we can control is the skeletal muscle, what you see in bodybuilders and all that stuff. So these three kind of muscles, the skeletal, the one we control, enteric, the one in your digestive system, and the cardiac in the heart, the one that we can't control either consciously. So anyway, your food goes down to the stomach. And the stomach is really interesting because it's the only organ that can withstand a really acidic environment. The rest of the body is always in a neutral pH, which is the acid-alkaline balance. The acid-alkaline scale goes from 1, which is really acidic, to 14, which is really alkaline. And usually life occurs within, 6, 7, in neutral pH, is what we call it. But in the stomach, you will have a pH of 2, which is extremely acidic, because you have hydrochloric acid. And it's really important for this hydrochloric acid to be there because it's going to help break down protein, and it's going to also activate some other digestive enzymes, such as pepsin. And remember, these digestive enzymes are going to help break down and absorb all the food. So basically, the stomach is going to make sure that at this stage is protein what is being digested. Okay? And your stomach has two sphincters, the esophageal sphincter and the pyloric sphincter. The stomach is just going to be churning, and pretty much think of a dryer, just like spinning around the food. So that's why if you chew your food properly, you're really helping your stomach, because your stomach doesn't have teeth, it's all soft tissue. So the softer you put the food in the stomach, the easier it's going to be to be digested. And if you don't chew your food properly and you just swallow food, like really chunks of food and all that, food is going to sit there longer. And you don't want that to happen, because if a lot of acid sits in your stomach for a long time, that's when we see, acidity, reflux, and stuff like that. You don't want that to happen, because remember that the stomach can withstand a pH of 2, but nowhere else in the body, including the esophagus. Some acid, like when you experience, some reflux, and some acid goes up into the esophagus, you feel a really burning, bad sensation, and that's really dangerous if you experience that all the time. For example, people with bulimia, that they make themselves to vomit. Acid is going to be reaching the esophagus really often, and that's going to cause ulceration, bleeding, and cancer in some cases. So it's really dangerous. So anyway, let's go back to the stomach. That's why you want to chew. Remember, chew properly. I'm going to be stressing that out. So your stomach is not going to let the food pass any further unless it's liquid, and it's going to be called chyme at this stage. And it's going to pass through this pyloric sphincter that opens and closes, in a controlled fashion by your brain. And we're going to move to this picture. We're going to go into the duodenum, which is right here, the C-shaped part of the small intestine. And the duodenum is the first part of the digestive system that's going to start dealing with fats and carbohydrates. And how that's going to happen? Well, it's because if you have a closer look here, this is the gallbladder, which is here as well. There is a duct that connects the gallbladder into the duodenum. And there's also another duct that connects the pancreas to the duodenum as well. So in here, we're going to have bile from the liver that's going to help to emulsify those fats that you ate. And you're going to have some enzymes and hormones from the pancreas that are going to help digest carbohydrates. So it's really interesting how in the stomach we're digesting protein, and now in the duodenum with the aid of the pancreas and the liver, you're going to be digesting carbohydrates and fats. Alright? So, and the duodenum is pretty much 12 centimeters long. It's not really long, but it's really important. And from the duodenum, we go deeper into the small intestine. Now, the small intestine is really interesting. For one, it's really long. It's 5 meters long. And there's a reason for that, because
Okay, hello class. I have some
Full history class.
During lunch today, one of you came in here and stole my wallet off my desk. And well, I'm sorry, but you're all in trouble, and I called the police, and you're all gonna have to go to jail. No discussion. I'm sorry, no discussion. One of you stole it, but you're all going to jail. That's the way it is, all right? So that's what we're gonna do. Let's think about that situation, okay? What words would you use to describe a situation like that?
Unfair.
Yes. Very good. Unfair. Any other words? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Excellent. So we're going to talk a little bit about unfair, or more so the opposite of fair, okay? Think about maybe a word besides fair that is the opposite of unfair, okay? So, up here, we have 3 little fragments or sentences, and there's a word that we can put into every one of these, the same word. The Supreme Court, beep, beep is served, truth, beep, and the American way. What word could that be, Kim?
Justice.
Yes, justice. So, Danny, would you read the first line?
Supreme Court Justice.
Chico, would you read the second line?
Supreme Court justice is
Yeah. And Dan, could you read the final one?
Truth, justice, and the American way.
Yes.
Superman's
So,
line.
you guys know Superman? Yeah. So, justice. It's a concept, maybe hard to sort of really define. Let's think about how we would define justice. We know it's kind of the opposite of unfair. I'm going to read a big definition, okay? Big words, a little confusing, but just try to listen to it, and then afterwards, we'll try to sort of understand this definition, okay? Justice, the maintenance or administration of what is just, especially by the impartial adjustment of conflicting claims. B, judge. C, the administration of law, the establishment or determination of rights according to the rules of law. The quality of being just, impartial, fair. Now I know it's big words, kind of confusing a little bit. Sometimes when we're trying to understand a definition in the dictionary, or maybe a paragraph in a book, if we can break it down, we can find simpler things to sort of help us understand. Maybe just words that we know that can sort of help us to understand the definition. So let's find some words here, okay, that we definitely know. I think we know judge, say law, rights, rules. Maybe, here's that word again, fair. So, Danny, would you just read these words again? Put them up on the board.
Judge, law, rights, rules, and fair.
Yeah, very good. So, let's just think about justice in terms of these words. Can anyone think of a way to use 1 or maybe 2 words to define justice? Danny, can you think of anything?
It would be fair rules.
Sure. Fair, okay, fair rules. Anyone else? Could you define it using one of these words? Anyone else?
Judge.
Just those words.
Any of those words. Maybe just fair rules. How about what is right? Maybe
Deciding.
Exactly, good. So justice. What is right? What is fair? Sometimes obeying the rules, yeah? So we can think about maybe people, okay? People who we think believe in justice, okay? We could say these people are people who aid justice.
United Nations.
Yeah, maybe, exactly. That's a good example. Keep thinking about that. Hold on. Keep thinking about that. Another way, maybe simpler way, what does that say there, Chica? Just this part. Just. Just is the smaller part of justice. So maybe another way to say it is people who are just. Alright? So they uphold justice. Let's look over here. Earlier we said unfair. What are some more words? Danny maybe said one to start with
Unclear.
unclear. What did you say, Danny? You said
Believable.
yeah. So with what does mean, Hula? with all these words. Yeah. So like not fair, not clear. So how can we apply un to justice? How can we find that word? Anyone?
Unjust.
Yeah, unjust. So we have people who are just, or, Danny, people,
Who are unjust.
yeah. Excellent. So, got some pictures here, some nice people. Chica, what is this? Yeah, well, I don't get that excited, but yeah. Who's this?
Candy.
Where would we put these two? On which side? Yes?
Unjust.
Okay. And Chica, how about Gandhi? Mhm. Yes. So, people who aid justice, people who are unjust. Go on.
Excellent. All right, go ahead and stop.
What's the sign for justice?
Yes,
Justice.
dependent.
I mean, yeah.
In a legal